Did we just unify all of Japan in 14 years and it's an Iron Man game? Yes, we did. That was in the first part. Today we'll be fixing this save because speedrunning unifying Japan takes a lot out of this country and we have a disaster looming. We have a lot of extra provinces to core up. We're still admin tech 3, diplo tech 3, low on stability, low on manpower, and with a ton of rebels about to pop out around the country. I will be showing the management part of the game a lot more today than I normally show. I know that a lot of you do struggle with managing your countries, fixing the economies, and fixing a situation like this after you do a very quick expansion, so we're going to show exactly how you can do that. Not only that, but we're also going to be killing off Ming, and we're going to be expanding into the Manchurian and Korean parts as well in this run. Also, if you want to see how I got to this point, you have a link to the first part in the description below if you want to watch that first before watching this. So obviously the first thing is we're going to summon the diet and go for whichever agenda best suits us. We're not going to be expanding for quite a while, so overextension less than 1% is great because we also get the admin points, which we seriously lack right now. We're also going to be seizing crownlands, and that means we got 32% crownlands. So we're going to sell titles. We're going to use the money that we got now to get more mercenaries once we need them. Our main issue is the fact that we lack units. We've set these boyos here to autonomously press the rebels around the country, which means that they're going to kill off whatever rebels pop out. We're going to do the same with this army here, and this should be enough to kill off the rebels, but their manpower pool is going to get depleted very soon, so we'll have to get new mercenary units using the money that we have right here. We can also pay off some of our older loans, which in turn means that we can get newer loans, and I'm going to pay off the 1% loans, not the 4% ones. Why did I do that? Well, because the 1% loans were 88 ducats, and by paying them off, I can get them again, and this time, instead of 88 ducats, they are actually 176 ducats, which means we can use the 1% loans to pay off the older 5% loans, and as such, we're paying 0.7 interest rather than 1.77, which means that we actually improved our economy simply from doing that. And the rebels started popping off. First army is in Kai, and a lot more rebels popping off now. You will be getting this kind of event quite a little bit. It's essentially about the Shinto religion, and it decides what level of isolationism you're gonna have. We want to keep this on adaptive, which means that we're gonna get dev cost reduction minus 10%, so we can play toll with this. Alternatively, you can also go for level 2, which offers idea cost reduction, so level 1 or 2 usually are the best levels for the Shinto religion. Oh boy, it literally just started and we're getting so many rebellion. I also strongly encourage you guys to lower the autonomy in your provinces. Autonomy is a massive issue in the Japanese islands because there were a lot of other countries here before and a lot of conquest happened. So because of that, most provinces have around 60 autonomy, which is massive, and I strongly recommend that you set the centralized effort edict, which lowers autonomy a little bit more as well in all of your provinces. It is expensive, but it is worth it, since the lower the autonomy, the more income and power we get from the provinces. Holy mother of God, it's continuous rebels, man, one after the other pop out. I personally find this a lot harder than just unifying Japan because there's more rebels than Japanese daimyo armies. For your second government reform, I recommend you go for the manpower. You're really gonna need manpower. And for the third one, of course, autonomy change minus 0.05 is insanely great, especially in our situation. See what I was saying? We already have a mercenary company with a low manpower, so these guys we can already disband. They're not gonna help us out too much. And we will recruit the Kanto Ronin, which are a really good unit actually. They even have a pretty good general as well. Make sure we attach them to the main army so they don't get stuck and Vapenicum. On the bright side, fighting so many rebels means that we keep our army tradition pretty high. We have 87 army tradition right now, and it's gonna stay around 80 something for the rest of this game. And to stop the peasants war from advancing, we just need to have one stability, which we got right now, so that means it's never gonna advance, and we get rid of it once we have 50% manpower. Gonna take a while though until we get 50% manpower, considering the predicament we're in. We have a bit of a dilemma here. We could potentially go for military tech 6. I don't recommend you do that if you're in this situation, because if you have 3 levels of technology, more than any other technology, then you get unbalanced research, and that gives you even more corruption per month, and you don't want corruption. So what we're gonna do with the extra mana points is we're gonna spawn in Renaissance. As any of the Asian countries, you don't really get Renaissance, you have to spawn it in. There's a few really great locations for that. You can spawn it in Kyoto, Owari, Musashi, and quite a few other provinces in Japan. I like to spawn Renaissance in Suo because it is a silk province, and silk is a pretty good trade good. Plus, it's also a natural harbor and a lot cheaper to spawn in here than most provinces. Make sure you set up the Encourage Development Edict beforehand, and let's start this up. Let's invest all the points that we have right now into this. Let's see how much that gave us. 46%. Let's continue until we actually spawn this in at 100%. Also, take note, whenever you develop your provinces, you get 0.2 crownlands. So that means we got a lot of extra crownlands. We can sell some titles, make some money in the process, and use that money to pay some of our loans. And there you go, no more overextension. We have full cores out of the entirety of our country. We also got rebels on the island of Tsushima. So I guess we gotta fight the ghost of Tsushima over there, right? This is actually so cool. If you look at the animation of the sprites, it really looks like super Japanese, doesn't it? Really gives you Ghost of Tsushima feels, doesn't it? And yeah, guys, it did. And we managed to spawn in Renaissance in Suo, so that means it's gonna start spreading around the rest of our country now. If we want to help it spread, we can always assign the Advancement Effort Edict, which will help it spread 33% faster. So make sure you do that around provinces that would actually benefit from this and not just everywhere randomly. I also noticed in the comment section that a lot of you guys are definitely scared of fighting rebels. I even seen some people saying that you increase autonomy. Guys, never increase autonomy, always decrease autonomy. Don't be worried about fighting rebels. Remember, fighting rebels is a good thing because it increases your army tradition at the end of the day when you're at peace. There's only one exception to this when you should increase autonomy, and that's when you're doing like a world conquest or something of the sort, and you have like small little islands that's really hard to get to them, and then it's just better off increasing autonomy not to fight rebels than having to ferry your troops all the way across over there. That's understandable, but like if it's in your mainlands and so on, always decrease autonomy. Also notice some of you guys complaining about how Ming is protecting your Ryukyu. You cannot attack them. If you really want to, you can always just diplo-vassalize a Ryukyu. Look at this, I'm diplo-vassalizing them, which means they now my personal subject. They're one of my daimyos since I am a shogunate, and I don't need to fight Ming to get them. If you ever decide to form Japan, you lose the shogunate, so think twice before you do form Japan, because the shogunate is likely one of the strongest government reforms in the game because of the daimyos system that it has. We've converted all of the northern parts of Japan to Shinto, which means we can do Pacify the North, the best mission ever because it gives us claims on the nation of Niv, which is a really easy target for us, and it is essentially our foothold in Manchuria. I think our reliance on mercenaries is over. We're going to disband the Kanto Ronin, which is really expensive to maintain, by the way. So we're going to replace them with regular infantry units again. We're going to recruit another, say, 5,000-6,000 units, and we're going to split our main army in half. We're going to ship off 12,000 of our infantry over to this island before we declare the war on Niv. Do remember to keep one army even when you're at war on the Japanese mainlands. We want to suppress the rebels. We will still be getting a lot of rebels whilst we're at war, so we need to make sure we don't get completely crushed. Because we also got rid of the mercenaries, it's cheaper maintaining regular units now, so we have a plus on the balance. For the first time in 15 years, our economy is getting back on its feet. And it's time to declare war on Niv. We can even co-belligerate Solon, that's fine. Let's attack Ski. Instantly took out their fleet, amazing. And Shtak and Vapenikum for their army. Sadly, they also got attacked by Nanai, and Nanai actually took over this city. Well, they're sieging it now, so that pretty much means that I'm not going to be able to take this. That sucks, because that means I'm going to have to fight Nanai now in order to get that area. I was going to vassalize Solon, right? That's why I co-belligerated them, but guess what happened? They actually vassalized Solon instead of me, so now I'm left with just one province from Niv. Bruh. Feels kind of pepega, not gonna lie. But hey, whatever, man. We'll take the province here. We've had quite a few years of fighting rebels and improving the economy. Most of our provinces are down to 0 autonomy now, so we can start expanding into the Manchurian lands. We can also call in our allies of Jiangsu to use them as cannon fodder, essentially, and we have more than enough ships to secure naval supremacy over here. Also, strongly recommend that you fight horde wards in mountain provinces and whatever provinces you can find that are not flat, because this way they get a minus 25 shock damage decrease as they are a nomad country, and that also means that we're basically going to stack wipe them. In my case here, the Nanai Korchan alliance actually won against the Oirats, and the Oirats are getting killed off by Chagatai even more. Also, I basically used Jiangsu as cannon fodder and as a distraction so that the alliance members attack Jiangsu whilst I'm dealing with the main target. So if you can do that, try to always have a weaker ally that the enemy AI is going to focus on. If you also decide to bring in allies in your wars, make sure that you take the provinces you're interested in before they do. For example, Jiangsu clearly has these provinces as vital interests, so if they're the first ones to take the provinces, they're going to want them for themselves. We're not going to be able to get them. And we can do our first peace deal with Haixi. We're going for trade power, war reps, a little bit of money, and we're canceling one of the rivals to get some extra prestige. We're not taking too much money because most of that would have gone to Jiangsu, so by taking the war reps instead, we take 100% of that cut. We also adopted Renaissance, so now we can start catching up with our technologies, and the peace deal with Korchan is going to be the same like Haixi, with the exception that we're also going to cancel their subject in Solon. In my run, they vassalize Solon. Doesn't mean it's going to happen in your run though. And it looks like Orochoni is also at war with Solon and Korchan. I think they might actually annex Solon completely. Let's see how it goes. Alright, now we can do the main peace deal here. We're going to fully annex them. Sadly, like I said before, one of the provinces went to Jiangsu, this one here, but it is what it is. We'll get it from Jiangsu soon because we're going to go to war with Jiangsu soon. Don't forget to concentratio in the newly added lands. And we're also going to be building up some workshops. 0.53 ducats from a single province. Of course, this is the province where we spawned in Renaissance, so it has a lot of production dev. But that just shows how much production dev scales. From 13 production dev with the workshop, we get an extra half a ducat. And oh my lord, look at Oirats, everybody. They are basically a snake right now. They're legit a snake, whilst Chagatai is massive. Let's also start getting some artillery. This is going to make wars a lot faster since we can break down the walls. Jiangsu is such a great ally. They're killing off the rebels of their allies. It's not even their rebels. And Orochoni hired the free company, so clearly this is the moment to attack. We're going to attack Orochoni here. We're going to co-belligerate Chibe, and that's going to bring in Jiangsu and Haixi as well. Let's do it. A big ass war against basically everybody in the Horde lands. What a great start with the 0 dice roll. But still, this is a forest, so they get the debuff for shock damage, which is great. We need that. Are you serious? Another 0? Come on. How do I get 0, 0? Bruh. And another 0. Bro. What the hell is happening? What the hell, man? I got 00308. Alright, whatever. We still won that battle because we have way better troops than they have. So, let's try and peace out Jiangsu first. We're only going to be taking lands from Oronochi and Chibe. The other guys, we're not going to take any lands. We're just going to get some money from them to fix our economy. Hello, sack of Ilin Hala, 5% professionalism. Nice. I like that professionalism. Maybe we can also intercept the free company of Orochoni and take them out. Whilst all of this is happening, I still have one of my armies killing off rebels in Japan, because I still have rebels popping off everywhere once in a while, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. Looks like the free company managed to run away from me, but we might get them in Edal still. We did get them in Edal, and it is a Stackenvapenik here. Let's go, boyos. Let's start sieging down the lands of Haixi also whilst we're at it. You might be inclined to attack, say, Haixi in this province. I don't recommend it because this is a steppe province, so that means they get plus 25 shock damage, which is really bad for us. I think it's fairly safe to say that Haixi would be willing to peace us out. Yes, they are willing to peace us out. Can we get a cancel rivalry? No? Well, it's fine. I don't mind just taking the money, war reps, and trade power from them. This way I can focus more of my attention on Jiangsu. We got a pretty big pocket of them over here. Let's see if we can catch up to them. That would be a pretty big amount of army tradition we can get from that battle right there. And we did manage to catch up to them. We got some great rolls controls this time, 6, 6, 1, 2, and 0. They got a 0 too, so technically this was an amazing battle right here. We're also going to be planning ahead, and we're going to start getting a claim on Solon so we can attack him after we peace out these guys. Jiangsu still has 9,000 soldiers around, but I don't want to fight them anymore, so let's go for the peace deal. I think it's better getting the trade power, even though I get less money from them, because getting that trade power means I can filter in more trade from Jurian into my main trade node, and as such get more money from trade itself. This expansion in the north is going to help us out so much, because it essentially means we now have access to the Mongolian lands, as well as very close to getting to the Ming lands. Our next war obviously is going to have to be against one of the Ming tributaries. My lord, we got 86% overextension. Holy snaps. Oh, what? Oirats is not a tributary of Ming, actually. Bro, that is easy real estate for me then. I'm also waiting for Ming to enact their second reform so I can attack them when their mandate is low. Claim has been acquired, so let's go with the war against Mongolia. This is going to bring in Oirats and Haikshi because they're allied to Haikshi apparently. Not Eine Bigen Dealen. Haikshi is actually super weak right now. They got 9,000 units left. I'm also doing this now because Oirats have a truce with Ming, and once the truce is over, 100% Oirats is going to become a tributary of Ming. So I got to do my war before that happens. I absolutely adore the fact that cannons break walls and destroy forts so fast. Peaced out Haikshi. We only want a 5 years truce, which is why we didn't really take anything from them. Really, 85%? If this goes to 99, I'll be extremely pissed. Okay, it did not go to 99, so I'm not extremely pissed. Guys, I wanted to say something. It actually takes 2 wars to fully annex all of the lands that the Oirats have, as Mongolia itself is 121 war score, and the Oirats is 62% war score. But I'm going to show you a very 5-head move right now, where we take all of these lands in one war. We take a few provinces here. We're basically snaking to the Oirats lands, and then we're fully annexing the Oirats. And because Oirats have no more provinces, whenever you fully annex a nation, the vassals that that nation had become your vassals. Just gotta make sure they don't have any other provinces remaining around here. Oh wow, they got one more province here, don't they? Never mind, my entire plan is messed up. We're getting a few nations in a coalition that nobody cares about, and that's pretty much it. Oh, what? Ming actually made Oirats a 1 province minor. Well, actually 2 province minor, because they still have the one here, right? We're also waiting for the rebels to spawn so we can kill them off, and after we're gonna declare our war against Ming. They're close to enacting their second reform, which means their mandate's gonna go below 50 and their troops are gonna be super weak. But I will attack them even though they don't have the reform enacted and the mandate is high, because I want to show you guys it's possible to do it even with the mandate high. And even though they have 120,000 soldiers, we will still win this. And time for the big war against Ming. We're gonna set Hohhot here as the main target. Apparently they're also at war with Chagatai, so maybe they'll focus on Chagatai and they're gonna let me siege their provinces. I will try to rush for all of their forts. I don't mind using my artillery to barrage the forts and maybe get them a little bit faster than I otherwise would. Wow, they're really wrecking Chagatai massively, aren't they? I mean, they have 133,000 soldiers right now, so it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? We already went up to 14% on the forts. Nice. It seems like I don't even need to assault them. Datong has fallen, and they did their second reform, which means their mandate is ridiculously low now. That means they're getting an extra 25% extra fire and shock damage received. Essentially, their troops are now papered troops when fighting ours. Beijing has fallen also. Let's go over to Shenyang. I was thinking of going for colonialism by picking up exploration idea second, but because I had pretty bad luck with my Diplo points, I was not able to rush it. So I'm just gonna go for the standard quantity economic first 2 idea sets. And if I want to go exploration, I can still go as my 3rd idea set. I noticed that the AI in the recent patch is really trying to avoid my troops whenever they know that they're gonna lose those battles, and that really just makes a massive difference. It makes the AI a lot smarter in my opinion. By the way, in order to keep their mandate low, you gotta make sure they get a lot of devastation and prevent them from having control of Beijing Beijing, as well as Canton, and I think Nanjing also. That's why I'm basically going for these cities, especially right now, to siege them down. Looks like Ming's trying to take back some of the provinces in the north. They took back Shenyang, but we're gonna attack them and we're gonna crush their armies now in Beijing. Even though they got more troops than me, just watch how much we're gonna destroy them. Let's assign a proper general there. There you go. And now let's absolutely slaughter them. 21,000 units got stack wiped there. Let's shift consolidate and let's wait for the other boys to arrive so we can kill them as well. Alright, I might have gotten a little bit too confident there. I actually lost that battle. Feels bad, man. Gansu has also fallen, but I think we lost a few places in the north, so we're gonna have to take these back before we do our peace deal. We also might be able to wipe out their army that's sieging us down, and we just did. Plus one more army, let's say. Should be a fairly easy battle also. There you go. That gave us 75% war score, so I think we're close to 100. You might be wondering, why are you taking all these parts in the south and you're not actually taking lands in the north? Couple of reasons. First off, this province has gold. I will upgrade this to 10 production and get a bunch load of money from this one province, and by taking the south ports I get access to the Indo-Chinese areas, and then after to the Indonesian areas, both of which are insanely rich. Now it's time to kill off the rebels, because we do have quite a few of them in Manchuria. Also going to be slackening recruitment a couple of times to get the manpower that I need for this war. Rebels are gone, so we can attack Haixi. Let's go. This way we bring in Ming, and we're going to peace out Ming just for the money. We don't want anything except money from Ming. So we're going to try and rush for the capital and a couple of forts adjacent to the capital. Baraggio, Berlinio. Oh, sorry, Beijingio. Damn, Ludi, you don't even know where Berlin is. Holy snap. Very, very quick war against Ming. We got the money. We won 25% war score, which is what we need in order to get all their money. And that's 3,000 bits that we got from there right there. Now we can also peace out Haixi. And it's obviously going to be a full annexation for Haixi here. Booyah Schnackadoo. We'll do the same thing. Attack Chahar and wait for Ming to join up. Right now, they're not joining because they have a lot of debt and manpower problems. So we're going to wait for a little while. They might pay off some of that debt or maybe get some more manpower, in which case they will join in the war and we can get more money from them. A few months later, and look at this, boys. Once more, Ming is dumb enough to actually join in that war. So that means we're getting even more monies from Ming again. I've actually used some of that money to upgrade my monuments because Japan does have 3 monuments here and they're pretty decent monuments too. What was that song like? Money, money, money. Where my money at, Ming? Where my money at? Huh? Probably not how the song went though. Wow, aggressive Jiangsu just attacked the Koreans. Would be ashamed if somebody attacked them at the same time. How fitting to get stack wiped in the province of Yehe. Cause you gotta go like, yeah, I say yeah. Now the big question is, how much land can we take from Jiangsu? Because we already have 25% overextension. I'd say this is fairly okay. They keep 3 provinces here and no coalition, because everybody that would potentially join in a coalition against us are already dead. So now we just gotta attack one last nation, and here then we have beautiful clean borders. Well, actually 2 nations, because we gotta attack Oirats and Mongolia also. Now this looks a lot better, doesn't it, boys? Oh yeah, boy, the collapse of the Ming dynasty has started. Shun just appeared in the north, and I can attack them actually. They got 10,000 units. Oh my lord. It's free real estate, everyone. It's free real estate. And they also lost control of the south parts. You might also be wondering, why am I not getting a ton of vassals or daimyos, which is really the only reason you want to keep the shogunate government reform, because the more daimyos that you have, the more bonuses you get from these 3 government interactions. I'm not getting the daimyos just yet. We'll be getting them after I consolidate my East Asian holding. So I'll likely have all of this land directly owned by me, and then everything else I'm gonna split apart and make small daimyos out of, which is like having attack dogs. So if you guys are interested in seeing that happen, let me know in the comment section below. If we get 10,000 likes, we'll do the final part for this, where we show how we can establish a massive Uesugi. And until the next time, check out this awesome Aztecs video.